Hello and welcome back to more Manufactoria 2022. Last time I worked through Economist, which was very tricky, dealing with subtraction, and figured it out in the end. So it looks like we've just got two slightly lower complexity ones left in this section. Without further ado, let's get started on Venturesome. Let's see. We are rolling in money now. Our cash reserves were so large we started splitting them between multiple countries just in case. I figured it was about time we started investing that money back into the stock market in a systemic way, not circuitously, but with circuits. Humans couldn't beat high-frequency traders, but robots could. Except robots entering with 2, 4, 8, or any other power of 2, junk the rest. Oh. Okay. So obviously what makes this complicated is this one, 3, 3, 2. So this is mostly a division problem. So let's see if we have. I'm trying to think through like the cases of things we can divide. So like we can turn 2 blues into a blue. We can turn 2 reds into a red. And two reds and a blue to 2 blues. So what cases wouldn't be covered here? Okay, so we can't have an odd number of reds, right? Because that would just, because it's a multiple of 3. If we have an odd number of reds, that's going to be an odd times odd is odd, plus an even, because all the 2's are even, so it's going to end up with an odd. So we'll have an odd number of reds. Okay. So where does that get us? We need to right, so if we have 2 reds and a blue, like we can't just do this 2 reds to 1 red thing. At least not naively, we'd have to go back and fix something. Okay. I'm essentially just trying to think through the order of operations here. As in, do I want to move all the reds to the front? Okay, so we could keep dividing by 2. Okay, so what if we move the blues to the front? And then if there's an odd blue, we group it with 2 reds. And then should that work? Like, can we always reduce? So let's say we put the blues in the front. Could we always then, what's this, 8, 11, 14, 16. Okay, so this would be 16, right? 10, 13, 16. So if we make these 2 into a blue, these 2 into a blue, and then say blue and 2 reds is 2 blues. Will that always work? Okay, so what are the ways we can make 16? Because I think that might be just helpful for illustrative purposes. We could have 8 twos. We could have 5 twos and 2 reds. We could have 2 twos and 3 reds. No. Yes. 6, 12. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 16. 10 is 16. 2, 4 plus 12 is 16. Alright, so this case, you would just turn 8 blues into 4 blues into 2 blues into 1 blue, and you'd be done. This one, you would turn, I think this is the case we just did. We turn this into a blue, and then we could turn this 8 into 2 blues. Okay, and this one we would do a blue, a red, and a red, and then 2 blues and 1 blue. I think that's the trick, is that whenever you have an odd number of blues, you need to remove 2 reds to get rid of it. My only fear is that this isn't rigorous and that I'm missing an edge case. That's right, if you have an odd number of blues, then it can't be a power of 2, so you'd need some reds in order for it to work. And it can't be an odd number of reds, it would have to be an even number of reds. So you would have to have at least 2 reds. If you have an odd number of blues and the sum is a power of 2, you have at least 2 reds. Which I think is all we need. Okay. So that means we do this in 2 steps. We do a thing that moves all the reds to the back, and then we do a divide by 2 machine, given that everything's at the back. So we'll need a writer, and we'll need something to check the first value. And if it's red, we move it to the back. So we had another machine like this before, where we just wanted to move the red to the end. And the trick, I think, is we check if there's at least 1 red early on. Right, so the blues cycle through, and then if there's any reds, we just, we keep everything where it is until we see the first red. No, it's only a problem if we see a blue after a red. Right, so we've had at least 1 red. So at that point, if we see a blue, I was trying to figure out how we know we're done moving everything to the back. So, see the first red, we cycle through. If we hit the yellow here, that means we didn't have any blues after the red, so we know we're done. if we do hit a blue, we still need to cycle through everything else. And then after we see the yellow, we need to write in the red we eliminated and then do the yellow again. And all of these filters should have a yellow thing. So if this is yellow immediately, that means that we have an empty string, which is not 2, 4, 8, etc. So we throw that in a fire. Otherwise, this is only blues. And we're done and can move on to the next step, whatever that is. This should go up and back, and I guess we can just use this yellow instead of that one. Okay, so this should move a red to the back, and then it would keep going until all the reds are at the back. So let's confirm that that works. Oh, red 3, 6, 9, 11, 13, 15. We'll do this to confirm. So this equals 16, so we should have 2 blue at the start and 3 red at the back, but the end of this. Yeah, so I just need to add a red here. I know I went through that rather quickly, so let me just fix this part. So this is essentially very similar to a machine we did on a previous puzzle. So I'm moving all the reds to the back. So start, once I see the first red, I delete it. And if I see a blue, I know there was a blue behind a red, so that first red needs to go to the back. So we just go through until we see everything and put that red on the back instead. And then you continue putting all the reds on the back until you get to a point where there are no blues after reds, which then goes down through this path. Cool. So we can know this input. I really would like to make this more condensed. Okay, so I can probably turn this blue this way instead. If I delete these and just make this whole thing. Let's take this whole thing. If I take it and rotate it to like this. Actually, can I? No, that's not what I. Okay. So this is basically the same thing, just in a different layout, I think. And this will give me a little bit more space down below. This again. End up, yep, 16 with reds in the back. And if we just take this robot, put it here, and move all of this, And then we can just put this red here. I seem to be getting some frame rate and like responsiveness issues, so I might have to pause this in order to take care of that. But I'm hoping okay. This seems fairly efficient, I guess. Unless this blue arrow's facing the wrong way now. No, it's not. That is in fact what I want. Okay, yep, that still works. And if I take this and move this up here, then I can just get the conveyor belt starting from another spot. So do this. And that should just give us more space to work with. Okay, cool. So this thing moves all the reds to the back. And now we have the simpler problem of dividing by 2 when we know all the reds are in the back. So we know if we have a power of 2 and we have an even number of 2s, we must also have an even number of 3s. So let's do this first. Alright, so we exit here. Let's go ahead, and we're still going to want something to mark the end, so we'll use yellow to do that. So usually, well, if we start with a red, we know that something has gone wrong. So let's just do this, and we can drop the red in the fire if need be. Yep, and we should be able to just do a fire here. And then if we'll need to see another blue in most cases. Okay, so this will be the first one. And then when we see the second blue, we can just write a blue. And then at that point, we need to check for 2 blues at a time and see if we can cycle through those. So let's do 1 blue, 2 blues, and if we get 2 blues, we then write a blue. However, if we see a red, we need to check for another red. And if we see that, we need to write a red and continue that process. And that should, if we have an even number of blues, that should then cut the number of reds in half with 1, 2 until it comes through here. Yes. And once it comes through there, that's fine. However, if we have an odd number of blues than a red, we need to check if there's another red. And if there is another red, that means we've seen a blue and 2 reds, which total up to 8. So we'll have to write 2 blues. And then we should go back into the red checker. Okay. This should never happen. Okay, so let's run a test and see where this ends up. So we move all the reds to the back, and we have a total of 16 with yellow at the end. We see 1, 2 blues and replace it with a blue, so we've cut the blues in half. We see 1, 2 reds, replace it with a red, repeat that. We've now turned the 16 into 8, and it drops through here and should be able to go through that process again once we have correct symbols. So we'll just have it do this. We'll of course want to mark that it's yellow. I'll make the yellow marker there and just reuse that one. This I'm pretty sure I can just move up, and that may give me some more space. Alright, so we run. We're at 16, 2 blues and 4 reds. We're at 8, 1 blue and 2 reds. We see a blue and a red. And at that point, we need to check for 2 reds, convert it to 2 blues, because a blue and 2 reds is 8. And if we have 2 reds, we can then essentially join in at this part of the branch. And what exactly? Okay, this is if we have a 3rd blue and then some reds. Well, actually, can I not just bring this to here? Yeah, because I think that's the same concept. Of this is if we have a blue then a red, and this is if we have a blue then a red. But I think if I can get it here, that should handle the same case. Wait, but we've already seen one blue and one red. So yes, I think we just want to get it here, which should be as simple as that. So we go, we're at 16, 2 blues and 4 reds. At 8, 1 blue and 2 reds. We see a blue and a red. And then we see another red. So we turn that blue and 2 reds, which equals 8, into 2 blues, which equals 4. We pass through here. We turn this 4 into a 2. We're done. And then this is just 2. So if we have a yellow there, we can pass it. So this should just, oh wait, what happened? Did not actually put that down. All right, so that robot was handled correctly. So let's just see if this works. 2 doesn't work. Oh geez. Seriously, I didn't make 2 work? Okay. I'm going to do red and blue. What happens? Checks a red, checks a blue. Moves that behind it. This. Okay, this assumes that there will be a red at some point. That's not necessarily the case. Why does this have to go into a fire here? Right, it just, if it sees only blues, fine. It should just join up with everything. Okay, this, I think we can move this over here. So this could be a fire here. And then we'll just go through a pipe. And join back up with this path. So let's check if that works for 2. So we say 2. We just cycle through the blue. We come back up here. We see the yellow. Okay. What did I break here? Does red, red, blue still work? So we are at 8. Oh. I'm assuming that this blue just needs to go here. What is going on? It seems like it's frozen. Okay, empty test doesn't work. That's annoying. So I guess that's why I had it in the fire initially. Okay, so this gets to here. Kind of assumed that it would never pass through. That's all I really need to check is will it ever pass through, I think. Because if it passes through there, it should go into a fire. Three and two. Okay, and now I just need to handle the fail states. This is 2 and 3. So it sees a blue and then a red. And then it comes through here. Doesn't see another red. So that's a failure state. Two, 2, 2. Okay, 2, 2, 2 is fine. We see a blue and a second blue, so we get so we're at 1 blue. And we see a blue and nothing. Another failure state. Excellent. Cool. Another mess of a machine, but it worked. Let's see. Our auto investors quickly found the fastest growing thing around, our company. They used our own capital to buy control and demanded we oust our old, slow-moving leadership, starting with sales. Marcus, to my surprise, was sincerely fine with it. He was ready to retire and let robots do everything for him. I didn't get it. Who'd want to stop working? Okay, so we have robots investing in robots and running the own robot company, which runs the world's monetary policy. Got it. Yeah, so there was a lot going on in this machine, but I think I basically covered a lot of it. So essentially, when we had something like 16, we would pass through this thing up top, which would, I explained at the beginning, so it just moves all the reds to the end. So once we get through this machine, we then have the reds at the end of the string, so it's still the same total number of blues and reds, just in a different order. And then we have one thing here that checks for 2 blues and replaces it with a blue, so it's cutting it in half. And it keeps doing that for a while, but if it sees, if there's an odd number of blues, there's going to be 1 left over, and in that case, it checks for 2 reds, because a blue with 2 reds is 2 plus 3 plus 3 is 8, and it replaces it with 2 blues, which is 2 plus 2 is 4, so that's half. And then it will then, after either of those, loop through all the reds and cut those in half as well, and then repeat. So if it eventually runs out of everything, it will fall into this success. But if it has an incorrect number of blues or reds, so that it can't divide by 2, it falls into the fire. And that's how we know it's not a power of 2. Okay, so we have finished this one, which was rather tricky. So I guess we will finish up with Cost Cutter next time. But I hope you enjoyed this episode, as we are nearly done with this 10th section of the game. Alright, have a nice day. Bye.